Hey kids, today is June 29th, Monday. It was a calm, productive day. I managed to get through some important personal and work tasks, had a few meetings, and your mother and I even tried to go out for lahmacun. Unfortunately, the restaurant was closed on Mondays. Well, sometimes the things you want simply don't happen. And as we've already talked about, that doesn't automatically make them good or bad. Today I want to talk about one of the habits that has helped me the most throughout my life. We'll spend many talks discussing habits, why they're important, how to build them, and how they quietly shape who we become. Because what we repeatedly do eventually becomes who we are. And one habit I'm genuinely grateful for is waking up early. For me, that's usually around 5 a.m. You may have heard of the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. It's a good book with practical advice, but today's talk isn't really about the book. It's about creating space. Now, depending on your personality, waking up at 5 may sound like torture or like paradise. I'm not saying everyone should do it. I'm not saying successful people all wake up at 5. I'm simply saying it has worked incredibly well for me. It helps me accomplish more. It helps me feel less stressed. It helps me think more clearly. It makes me more creative. It helps me solve problems more calmly. But perhaps its biggest gift is something much simpler. It allows me to begin the day before the world begins asking things from me. There is something special about early mornings. The world is still quiet. There are no meetings, no emails, no phone calls, no messages, no urgent requests. And as parents, believe me, having 2 little children means somebody usually needs something every minute of the day. But between 5 and 6:30, those 90 minutes belong only to me. That little piece of the day is incredibly precious. Because if I slept until 6:30, my day would immediately begin with preparing breakfast, making lunch boxes, helping you get dressed, brushing teeth, taking you to school. Then my workday starts, then meetings, then picking you up again, dinner, bath, bedtime stories, and before I know it, the day is over. So those 90 quiet minutes are often the only uninterrupted time I have. Sometimes I work, sometimes I read, sometimes I exercise, sometimes I simply sit quietly with a cup of coffee and think. Sometimes I plan my day. Sometimes I don't do anything at all. But whatever I do it intentionally. That makes all the difference. Because if you don't create space in your life, life will fill every empty corner for you. Other people's priorities, other people's emergencies, other people's expectations. And suddenly, you've spent the entire day being busy without ever working on what truly mattered to you. Marcus Aurelius had a beautiful morning practice. Before beginning his day, he reminded himself that he would meet difficult people, ungrateful people, selfish people, dishonest people. Not because he wanted to become pessimistic, not because he expected a terrible day, but because he wanted to prepare his mind before the day had a chance to disturb it. I love that idea. Not because we should expect the worst, but because we should prepare ourselves. Many people wake up and immediately grab their phones. Before they've even gotten out of bed, they're already reading messages, checking social media, absorbing other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, other people's priorities. Before they've had a single moment with themselves. I try to do the opposite. Before entering the world, I first return to myself. I ask questions like, what kind of person do I want to be today? What really matters today? What is within my control? What should I let go of? What would make today a successful day? Not financially, but as a human being. Those few quiet minutes often change the entire day. Now, waking up early isn't magic. If you wake up at 5 and spend 90 minutes mindlessly scrolling through your phone, nothing changes. Likewise, if you wake up later but intentionally create quiet time for yourself, that can be just as valuable. So this isn't really a talk about 5 o'clock. It's a talk about protecting your attention, protecting your mind before the world begins competing for it. Because your attention is one of the most valuable things you own. If you don't decide where it goes, someone else gladly will. And over time, something interesting happens. The greatest benefit isn't actually getting more done. That's nice, but it's not the biggest reward. The biggest reward is that I feel calmer, less reactive, more patient. I don't feel like I'm constantly chasing life. Instead, I feel like I'm walking into it. Life will always be busy. There will always be problems, unexpected events, difficult people, deadlines, stress that never disappears. But when you've already spent some meaningful time with yourself, you face those challenges differently. Little by little, day after day, that quiet habit builds confidence, self-respect, discipline, inner peace. Not overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither is character. Character is built quietly, through hundreds of small decisions that almost nobody sees. Nobody applauds you for waking up early. Nobody gives you a medal. But that's exactly why it matters. Because discipline is what you do when nobody is watching. So maybe one day you'll wake up at 5. Maybe you'll wake up at 7. Maybe your quiet hour will be in the evening instead. That's not important. The important thing is this: create space before the noise. Choose intention before reaction. Protect your attention. Respect your time. Because how you begin your day often shapes how you live your day. And when you multiply those days by years, they eventually become your life. And do not ever forget, I love you both very, very much.